Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to do another talking episode, but I couldn't really think of any topics to actually talk about. My life isn't that interesting, you know. It is Mother's Day today and I forgot to buy a present, because I usually forget those things nowadays. But anyway, so today I want to take you on a world of something I sometimes get interested in, but usually it's just like a side thing I think about. Of philosophy. Whoa, interesting, right? Probably not for most people, but I just find it sometimes cool. Like, philosophy is this thing where both our lives are always affected by it, but we never know about it, which is very interesting I find. But anyway, over here I found a list of, I think, how many is it? 8 interesting philosophies. Now we can look through it and maybe see if our lives are actually part of it. Probably not, mostly, but... So, the first one on the list is called hedonism. Now, hedonism is philosophy that believes the only purpose of life is to gain pleasure. Now, honestly, I find this philosophy to be a bit negative, to be honest, because to get pleasure for yourself, but not for others, is it really pleasure? At least not in my world. I also find it a bit sad, more like, you know... Because if pleasure for yourself might be anguish for someone else, might be pain for someone else, might be something life-ruining for someone else, you never know. Which is why honestly hedonism doesn't seem that smart in practicality. I still say that there are variants, like however you pronounce this word, hedonism, to reduce the anguish caused by life and the fear of death. Now that is a reasonable one. To actually reduce the pain that the world has, instead of amplify it by only causing pleasure for yourself. So let's move on. Nihilism, one of the most popular one. Nihilism is essentially just depression incarnate, you know. Essentially saying there is no value to life, there is nothing to live for, there's nothing to die for, there is no value in money, there's nothing. At the end of the gate, it's black. There is no hope. There is no future, there is no past, everything is worthless. Which seems a bit depressing. That's because it is. You don't believe in anything. Nothing has value. Why have friends? They're just gonna die. You know? That's the kind of thinking nihilists have. Which doesn't seem that helpful in a world where we need to help each other, where friendship is something that needs to be established more instead of being hidden. See, is anything else here? Yes, that's not be true. Can be understood in genuine. Okay. Now, and then we have solipsism, which honestly, this one always sort of breaks my mind every time I hear about it. But let's see. Unlike nihilism, self-will is abysmal hopeful because it acknowledges existence. See, essentially what solipsism is that only you exist. There is nothing else, because imagine it like this. You are probably listening to me talk right now, but are you actually? Do I exist? Am I actually a person behind the microphone, sitting here talking right now? How do you know? How can you be sure? Maybe I have something your mind made up. Maybe I am real, but you never know. How can you know? Maybe you encounter me in real life, but still, you don't know whether there's anything inside my head. You know, it's that sort of thinking is what solipsism is based upon. The idea that only you, the person, are real. Nothing else. You can prove that your mind is real because you can actually think and see yourself and see everything. But how can you can never be sure anything else can do the same. Then the next one, I've never heard of this one. Logical atomism. Developed by British philosopher Bertrand Russell, the idea professes that simple facts make up the world and life as we know of it, and these facts are just like atoms which cannot be broken down any further. Just as there are multiple layers of matter which when removed all finally leaves the atom, logical atomism believes the simple facts were stripped of their superficial layers. Let us understand how life works. How life unfolds. What? Strives for simplification of ideas and okay. So essentially what I understand from this is that this train of thought is that everything needs to be simplified for us humans to understand it perfectly. So if you look at something like physics for instance, where it's like thousands of numbers, calculations, blah blah blah, figuring out how to calculate the sun and that type of way, that needs to be stripped down to essentially calculus levels instead of remaining at impossible levels like it is now. Stoicism. If you think hope is the opium of emotions, opium, what? But the real virtue lies in not what a man says, but how he behaves. Claims that judgment is often manipulated by emotions, eventually leading us to sins. Therefore, the Stoic practices not to have emotions at all. Stoics consider themselves as a small part of nature and strives to live in harmony with it, because according to Stoicism, trying to resist nature will only garner frustration, disappointment and anger. A Stoic is not affected by the adversities of life, but endures them with Stoic indifference. It's a philosophy that urges you to be prepared for the very worst and be absolutely calm about it. Now, I'm getting a bit confused with this one, I don't really understand it. I assume it's more a good actions are part of you instead of forced upon you sort of thinking. That's the only thing I actually think of. And being emotionless, which also doesn't seem that fun. Animism. If you think there's soul in objects. If you think you can communicate with your guitar, your old toys, the books, there's a school of thought that actually believes in you. Animalism is a philosophy that believes not only plants and animals, but inanimate objects have soul too. So essentially, animalism is just everything has a soul. That's simply it. This desk I'm currently sitting on has a soul. This PlayStation I have here has a soul. This TV I have here has a soul. This controller here has a soul. Everything in the world has a soul in it. Whether we know it or not, everything can be heard on a spiritual level. Which really, if you think about it, that really means that we humans are very much banned from heaven. Oh my lord, so many trees with souls burned down, so many stuff, so many books burned, so many, oh my lord, the maximum death of humans, which is like 110 billion I think, doesn't even compare to it I think. Like, that's a lot worse. Okay, presentism. The next one. According to this philosophical school of thought, there is nothing called the past or the future, and the only thing that is the present moment. According to St. Augustine, the future is imaginary, the past is just perception, and the present is like an edge of a knife between the two, where the concept of time is not included. So essentially this train of thought is just, the now exists, and that's it. There is technically no future, there is 100% no past, we exist in the now. Although I don't understand how that explains like history and stuff, or see how we can predict stuff in the future, because that shouldn't count then, because the present is the only thing that matters. How can we know what happens with the climate if the present is only matters? Like it's a bit of a dumb school of thought, I find. Eternalism. It's kind of contradiction. Both are real, and so is the future. The past, present, and future do not have to be a linear progression. Okay, that's a bit mindfucky. So the past and the future and the past happen at the same time, but they possibly happen in different dimensions according to this one. So me recording this and you looking at this could happen at the same time, but me recording it could be in a different dimension than you currently watching it. That is very trippy. At the same time that I'm currently talking, the Wright brothers might be making an airplane right now in a different dimension. While they're making an airplane, America might be working on a nuclear bomb. While America's working on the nuclear bomb, what was his name again? Genghis Khan might be doing his thing, It's a bit of a mindfucky train of thought, I find, at least. So, finally, if a tree is felled in the forest and no one sees it or hears it fall, was the tree there? I have no clue. But anyway, I hope you liked this video of mine, where I sort of analyze stuff I find online. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye bye.